Hey, how's it going? And today we're just going to be playing around with trying to create this effect of bubbles inside a toroid. This was Oliver at Digital Origami did this back in 2019. Unfortunately, he jumped ship. But anyway, but also I partially blame my LightWave guru for this because he's got me looking into this open VBD thing too. So he's been just all over this stuff. So I thought I got to start looking into it and see what's going on. So anyway, this is going to go pretty fast. So we're just going to start. We're going to go into model. We're going to go geometry, toroid. It doesn't make any difference to do this, but I'm going to smooth that out anyway, just because, I don't know, it just looks a little better. And then what we'll do is we just go into item. We're going to go into null. We're going to go okay. We're going to go down here to properties. We're going to switch object replacement. We're going to go to open VDB evaluator. And then you just click on that P and it pops you into the node editor. And there's just a few things we need here. We need CSG. We need a filter. We're going to need from particles. We're going to need mesh to volume and scatter. And this is really something to play around with if you got spare time, because I'm sure there's a lot of potential with these tools. I guess, I'd made a video about, I wasn't sure about OpenVDB, but I guess there is something to it potentially. It just, sometimes it takes a lot of rendering power depending on what you're trying to make. So this is all that we need to create the bubble effect. So I'm going to try it with different shapes too, but I'm just doing this kind of based off of Oliver. So this goes pretty fast. So we're going to go mesh to volume. The target mesh is going to be our toroid. We're going to change the type to level set, and I'm going to come back to voxel size in a minute, and we'll set the world, and then we're done with that. And then we're going to come down here to filter, and we're going to set this to erode. Oliver does a nice job explaining why this works. Then we go to 3, and because he's shrinking down the size of the mesh. And on scatter, we're just going to have point count will be how many bubbles, so we're not going to have very many. We'll just put in 20 there, and we're going to do fill. And just for fun, I clicked on animate. The only difference here is this goes to null. We're going to set that to be our null, and then here is going to be set to subtraction, and from particles nothing changes in there, except I'll come back and show you something here right at the very end. And let's see here, and that's it. So now we can just hook everything up. Okay, so the grid goes into here, and then this comes into grid there, and this goes into grid there, and this is from particle to particles because these create particles, and then the grid comes back in here like that, and then this grid goes in there like that, and that's it. Now you can see it's VDB-ish because you can see the surface, those voxels. You have to decrease the size of them to smooth this out, but then again you decrease that voxel size. I'll show you something that gets messed up with that, but at 0.05 it's not acceptable. This is unacceptable, but it's good enough for what we're going to do right now, so I'll show you something in a minute. Okay, so then last thing we got to do is we go into scene editor, and we're going to just get rid of our toroid, and you'll notice a slight change when you do that, and get rid of that so it doesn't render. And so this is completely the VDB volume right now. And then all we got to do is come to the surface editor, and on our volume mesh here, set this to transparent at 100. Enter, close. Can't see anything. Let me match my camera perspective here, and we'll go to camera view. Oh, not camera, but also VPR. And there it is, the bubbles. I think it would be cool to put this inside another shape. So I have a lot of exploration to do with this myself, but I was going to say something. So you see how the surface is unacceptably rough right there? What we can do is we've got to go back and decrease our voxel size. So we come up here, mesh to volume here. Yeah, so now watch what happens. This is interesting. 0.04, right? So making the voxel smaller. Now watch what happens. Where'd our bubbles go? It's interesting, huh? Yeah, what happened? What happened? Could you imagine like a little kid? You're showing this little kid, where'd the bubbles go? I don't know, kid, you're out of luck. It's a cold, cruel world in LightWave. No, so you gotta go back in here to P, and we have to make them bigger, our particles bigger. So this is the part that got interesting to me. How big do we have to make it? Look, 1.6, not big enough. 1.7, not big enough. 1.8, not big enough. So then I start getting pissed off. How about 2? Yep, 2's big enough. So it's just interesting, right? I mean, all the settings that you have to play around with on this. So I'm going to do another video a little later. I'm going to try to put this into some other thing, but these are animated, so these get really crazy. I'll render it out and show you. So anyway, this is just for fun. I think this has a lot of potential, so I just haven't quite figured out. It's one of these things, like I say, it's a solution in search of a problem. Anyway, have a great day. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time.